Hey guys, this is Larissa with Be You Beautiful One. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm excited to share with you something that needed to be done a while ago. And I finally adjusted my mindset to go ahead and get it done. Okay, what am I talking about? Talking about setting up a reading journal. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember, I sort of stopped talking about it because I felt a little bit defeated that I was not doing it as I had attended to over the last few years. But I love books. I love collecting books. I love reading books. I'm not a fast reader. It takes me a while to get through books, but that's just how I digest information. I can't glance over things easily and feel okay. I have to go back and do a lot of re-reviewing and so forth as an adult. And that might just because my head is filled with adulting already. So I just cannot fly through books very fast, and that's okay. But I want to motivate myself to read more because I feel that reading is a good exercise for your brain. Helps to keep your brain on point and expand your mindset, and it's also entertaining as well. And so I love books. I love buying books, but I don't read all the books that I have. And that's problematic. So my goal is to start documenting the books I buy, the books I want to buy, how long does it take me to read a book, and that will help me to also say, okay, Larissa, you're getting off track with your reading. Let's go ahead and set up a time frame to read and to be engaged in your book, and then to do a book review, not necessarily so much for YouTube or Instagram, but more for myself. I think it's good when you talk about a book that you have read, uh, even if it's into a camera, because that way you can sort of pull together your thoughts and write down your thoughts as well, and maybe the things you've read come back to memory, and just for numerous reasons. But this is more about my self journey for myself. It's one of the goals that I've had. And I have bought printable journals, uh, book journals. I don't know since when. The earliest one that I could find in my Etsy without going all the way to the beginning was like a few years ago, at least. But I've bought some since then, just trying to see what I like. And I even have bought one that I printed out recently, and I hadn't finished setting it up, but I had just put it into like different sections, your book club section. I have my review section, but then I found out I printed everything out wrong because I was about to start doing the dividers and stuff. And that just made me mad and frustrated. And I'm like, I'm not reprinting all of this out. So then I have this person that I've been following for some time, especially on Instagram. I see her videos here and there, and that's Hiba. Her YouTube channel is My Little Journal, but my bestie Cami reminded me, put not necessarily remind me, but put a spotlight on her book journal, and I had already purchased the digital format of it, in the class, and I'm like, Larissa, why are you not using this? This could be a way, because I just don't have the capacity right now to handcraft each and every single page. But I like the fact that she has printables that you could just print, cut, and put into your journals and move on. And that's what I needed. Right now I don't have the capacity to craft each page of a bullet journal design. I desire to, but I'm trying to make for sure I can make the process as easy as possible. So that's what I decided to do. Thanks, Cami, for reminding me of her printable kits, because I have so many that I have purchased over the years, but hers is not like a conglomerate of printables. I think it contains like maybe 10 sheets, and very easy, not overwhelming. Print them, cut them down, put them in your book, and move forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I've had this particular dot grid journal at least a year. And I want to tell you about this one. This one is, I purchased it for $20. And I guess that was a special, because Scribble That Matters, is a nice, alternative to Archer and Olive. And this one was on Amazon, so I'll link it down below. And maybe you could catch a sale as well. It's normally like $34.97. I got it for $20. It has 160 GSM paper, which is pretty thick and comparable to what Archer and Olive uses, and so therefore it should hold up with various markers and media items that I plan to use in here. So I'm going to take it out of the sleeve. And I was sharing with Cami about this, that, I'm just so delayed in doing this, and year after year I want to do it, but because of where I'm at in my season of life, it has just been overwhelming. So I said, Cami, you might see me use Heba's stuff, and not trying to copy off of you, but you did lit the inspiration in me again to go ahead and get it done. So thank you, Cami. And it was so funny because her and I were roomies for Go Wild. See, I still have my Go Wild nails. And and Cami is so cute. She was carrying her Archer and Olive in the box because her has a fabric. Mine doesn't. It's more of probably like vegan leather kind of feel to it. And I was like, I'm going to keep my box too, but my box is a slide-on box. So probably after I put enough stuff in here, I won't even be able to put this back in here. But it did come with this little cute storage box. But I plan on using a lot of stickers and all of that in here, so I doubt it. But it just made it like even more of a treasure gem to have that particular journal in a box, and she would show it to people, pull it out of the box, and now she has a new way of storing it, and I'll let her tell you about that. But it just signifies the weight and value that a reading journal has, because it's one thing that you have to be committed to. It's self motivating to keep it up, and it also allows your creativity to flow as an outlet and all of that good stuff. So I'm excited to share with you my setup, but this is comparable. It does have like a started and ended page, and you can put your name up here. You have your key code for your bullet code and your color code. I'm not for sure if I will use these or not. I think the index will be good because I can index the books that I've read, and so forth. So I probably won't even really start using the pages until after the index, which is this page here. And I'm just going to set it up. But the pages are actually numbered, which is sort of cool. Don't really need the pages, but because sometimes these things may be cut or stamped over or covered with stickers. I don't know. But if I decide to, I can use the exact page number within here to track like a table of contents, the books I've read, and all of that good stuff. If I want to just have an easy reference tool to say, oh yeah, that's in this particular journal. But it's just a regular dot grid. It has 2 ribbons here for bookmarking purposes. It has a pocket back here. There it goes. A pocket right here. That's really cool. It comes with the pen, but I will not be using this pen. I have some pens that I would prefer to use. There's no pocket in the front, but I can always add one. It says to avoid ruining your new journal, try out all new pens on the pen test page at the end, which I will definitely do. So here's the pen test page right here. And then flip through the journal from the first page to the last. See all the scribbles, a mirror of your past. What have you learned? How have you grown? Reflect and ponder when you're alone. And that's exactly what this will signify for me as I'm reading the different books. Okay, now moving forward. To start off, I printed off some images of a couple of things that I found. And so again, I love books. One of my things to do is to create a library. I'm in a new home. I help to take care of my dad. And so I'm not for sure if what season I will be moving out on my own, how soon that will be, or if I will always stay here with my family. But in the interim, I just have like a couple of bookcases, and I'm working on now to reset that up because I purchased a lot of books to read this year, not only on my Kindle, my Audible, but also physical books. And so I'm excited to share those with you. But I wanted to have like an imagery of bookshelves, even if it's like a library. And so in here I have this image of a girl reading a book, peeking up from her book. I have 2023 here. On the spine, I have my reading log. I could have put my reading journal. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. I thought that was an excellent quote about why I wanted to do this very thing. So I don't want to just collect books. I want to actually read them. And so this will be somewhat of my cover page. And I'm almost wanting to put it here. I like this start ending, but I can put that somewhere else because I'll be dating this book. So I'm going to start off by putting these here, and I printed it off and just cut it down to size so that it would fit. It's not going to fit perfect, and I'm okay with that. And who knows, I might even make it crooked for good old sake. And that's okay too. I just have to be okay with it because again, this is just about me getting past this step to set up my journal so that I can use it and move on. I have already listened to an audiobook already this year. I started on it last year and I moved through it so slow. And that's another reason why I want to do this book log, to keep track. Also to help me realize, because some things I can probably speed up a little bit more. I'm just not focused on it. letting life get me by, and I have to stop doing that. You know, I cannot allow, I can control the things that I can control. Some things I may not be able to control, and that's okay. So that turned out really cute, really simple. I just basically printed out an image over a standard letter document, but I did the orientation where it's not vertical but horizontal, and I just cut it in basically in half, essentially. So maybe I'll show a video on how to do that, because it wasn't just in half. I did measure it out, but essentially that's what it winds up being. So yeah, that turned out cute. I like that. I may decide to put something else here, but I sort of like the idea of having an index, so I'm going to leave that alone. Now I have some pages, and the pages basically look like this. She gives you a double-sided page, and basically cut it down to size. An 8x5, what is it? 5x5. I mean, 5.5 by 8 by 5 is the standard measurement for an A5 journal. So this border here, I may have to trim down a little bit, but it's a good guide, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's on white paper. I put it up against the pages and decorate around it, and you'll never know. And then we have the book of the month. Now, some of these pages, I'm like, do I really need this right now? I don't know, because some of it becomes a little bit redundant, like monthly review, book of the month, monthly favorite. And I'm just like, I think it's redundant. So I'm not for sure if I will use these, but I have them printed out in case I decide to. And then here are the bookshelf images. And I printed them out a couple of times because I was playing with the sizing. I actually have some other bookshelves from other digital products I bought, but I'm just going to hold off on using those. I may add them in as I go along, but I just want to get this done. I have already printed out, so there we go. So here I have some of the ones that I've already cut down. Some of them I printed out a couple of times because I felt like I would need them times over. But here are the bookshelves, okay? And so I'm just going to do my foundational pages today. And I might add a little bit of deco just to get the ball rolling. I like the dots on the dot grid pages because then I can line them up a little bit better than what I can without them. But I think what I want to do is I have not only the bookshelf, but I have, this is like a tracking kind of thing. And this one has books read. So again, to me, this can get a little bit redundant, right? But I could put, I'm starting in March, so I could put in March, like I could put the color code as green, and I could put that I read 1, 2, 3, 4 books in March, and then in April I'll have another color, and then that I could say, okay, continuing from March, now I'm on my 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th books, and I could color code them, and that way it's shorter. It can sort of help me to see like what months tend to be the months that I tend to do more reading in. Is it a seasonal thing? Is it, do I tend to read more in the winter months because it's cold, you tend to be inside more? Or do I enjoy reading outside, or, you know, sitting in the library more because I'm getting out more, or whatever have you, book cafes and so forth. So that's that. And then I have this daily challenge reading tracker, which can be a little bit fun. And I'm still trying to get used to all of this. But, oops. But basically, I'm here in March, so I could still go back and put in this, but I didn't read a lot of books. I listened to the audio, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit here, but I could basically say in March, on March 1st, I read, on March 2nd, I read. It's just simply saying that I read something every day, and it's just a tracker to motivate. So this one is how many books I've read. This is just to say I've read something that day. And then I have an A to Z book challenge here. That means maybe getting titles that start with A, B, C, D on down. So it's just another way to say, hey, to explore different books, to try to find different books, to diversify what you're reading. And for me, I tend to read the same type of books over and over again. Um, I love books that are fiction, that are Christian based, that have historical history wove through them. I love books that are continuous in series and so forth. So those tend to be the books that I easily go towards. So I definitely will want to challenge my reading. But right now, I'm just like, get started. So if that means that I have to read books that I actually tend to like just to pump blood into my veins for me to say, I want to read, I want to read, I want to read, that's what I'm going to do. So, but the book challenges are there for that, as well as this bingo. I can go in here and put, different types of book themes that I would like to expand towards. I'm not going to be hard on myself because, again, this is the first year that I've done this in a very, very, very long time. And so I just want to get started, and I want to be consistent with it. And that is my goal, my bottom line goal. So if I'm reading books that are my core interest, then that is what it is. But I know that I'm going to use this daily challenge. Now, I'm not for sure how I want to do this. I know that there's a book review that I want to do for each book that I read, but this is just like a nice index to say what books I've read. So to put down the title and then just give it a star rating. Easy peasy. So I know I'm going to use that. Books to read. This is probably good for me to write down like all the books that I'm collecting, my physical books, as well as books that I am already gathering on Kindle and so forth. Because on Kindle, you could just be like, in audio, you could be like, and the cool thing about Kindle and audio is you could sync them together. For several of the books that I have, I could sync the audio with the Kindle, hear audibly as well as reading it visually. And I love that because that is one of my goals, is even with the physical book to have audio. I believe it will help me to move through the books a little bit faster than what I am accustomed to doing on my own. That is what I've found to have worked, but again, I haven't been fully consistent with it to make for sure that that was the key. And, also not to rely on Audible as well, but I think it will help me to move through the book faster. But I am a visual and audible person, and I like them both together when possible. And so this will help me to track the books that I have finished, that I own, that I need to buy. And right now I got so many that I have just purchased that I need to write them down. I need to write down my Kindle books and my audiobooks as well. I probably will need to print these out. And then I also need to have a book of interest that I'm interested in. But my goal is to read what I have on hand now versus continuing to borrow, or whatever. So I have those trackers there. Then I have my monthly favorite tracker, which I think will be fun because I could print out the cover, give it a rating. I could say when I started it, when I finished it, and then whether it's a Kindle, Audible, or physical book. Some of these will be multiple, but just something quick and easy to highlight, like my number one book. I think that'll be fun. And then I do have this page tracker and a Goodreads tracker. The Goodreads, and I was asking Cami about this, Goodreads will allow you to follow people as they read books and give their personal review on them. And so, like, me and Cami, we have so much in common. We know that we tend to like the same basic books, but we're also trying to stretch our book reading as well. In fact, there's a couple of books that I got based off of Cami's reading log just this year alone. So, and I'll tell you about those. But it's also another way where someone says, hey, you want to review my book? And you can review other people's books. It's just a nice way to network as well. So I will have that. And it would be good to also track like what I'm pulling off of Goodreads, like the recommendations and so forth. But I still need to understand how to use this. So I have to still go back through HIPAA's classroom that I have of hers and find out exactly how she uses this. Page tracker. I really like this because not only is it saying that I actually read, but it's saying how many pages did I read. And so it's making me be aware of what I am doing. So like for March 7th, I could say I'm a color code this, and I could say this color signifies that I read 5 to 10 pages that day, that particular day, or that I read 21 to 30 pages that day. And then when I finally finish. So I really like that, and I'll be using this. And there's some other stuff, but I'm not going to use it. I just want to get started now. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting up my pages. I do have some books on hand. One of the things that I love about these bookshelf trackers that I've seen in other people's journal, they make it feel like it's a home, right? And so I have some stickers that have like plants and flowers in them. I wanted something a little bit more, but I cannot recall the actual sticker book that I have the stickers in. So I'm going to just do that later. But some of these sticker books do have plants and so forth in there that I'm going to use. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, I know what you're saying. Larissa, why is that book closed? What happened? Well, I decided to turn off the camera and just focus on setting up this reading journal without concern of angle, lighting, and so forth. Let's go ahead and show you my reading journal for 2023. Okay, so we have a pink cover, and I probably will decorate this. I just haven't decided what I'm going to do for the front cover yet, but I probably will do something to this front cover, and I'll let you know if I decide to do anything to it. But on the inside cover, when you first open it up, the back cover has a pocket, and so I could store things back here. I have on nails, so it's just not gonna happen. Oh, there it goes. A nice deep back pocket, as well as a pen loop and a band to close the journal. And I have two ribbon bookmarkers that I really like. You know, pink is one of my favorite colors, so this is totally within my realm. But I have this shelves of books in the background with the doll on the front, and she's holding up a book, and I added the 2023 here, and I put my reading log. I could have put my reading journal, whatever have you. And then I put this quote that really hones in on the reason why I want to do a reading log. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. Especially as I get older, I want to make for sure I'm exercising my mind. I want to make for sure I'm able to sit down and slow down and use my mind and the capabilities of my mind as I get older. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm glad that I found this quote. I probably will put this quote throughout the remainder of this journal because it definitely hones in on a reason why I really want to make for sure it's intentional that I do this, as well as just enjoying it. Okay, and then I left these blank. I'm thinking, I've been going back and forth. I'm thinking of actually using and maybe changing some of these words here, but I thought it would be good to have a color code key to sort of indicate like different genres of books that I'm reading. So as I color code different things throughout the journal, there's a consistency there for my general documentation of what I'm reading. And then I like the idea of having an index. I probably will change it to maybe a table of contents or whatever, but to sort of document the different pages of my journal. So for example, I could put the different challenges and what pages they're on. I could put like my bookshelf, what page is it on, my TBR, and so forth, just as a good reference tool. Maybe I will share this with someone, and if they look through it, I want them to be able to find what they need. But I also think it would be great to like index the books that I'm reading, the book reviews, and what pages they're on so that they could just easily be navigated to. And I went ahead and I left a couple of pages for that. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to fill this out all together. And if I don't, that's okay. I've already thought about like what I could probably do to maybe decorate one of the pages, because my goal is 25 books. I don't want to overwhelm myself. Again, I haven't been really doing a lot of book reading, and so I want to build upon a nice and realistic foundation. So Um, that gives me what, about mm, including March, about 10 months, right? So that means about 5 books, or less than 5 books, about maybe 2 to 3 books, depending on how fast I go. And I'm already exceeding that goal a little bit, so I might bump it up, but 25 I think is a good start for somebody who is jumping back into it. I can do approximately 2.5 books a month. Uh, I'll just round that up. So it'd probably be really 30 books that I do. But I want to give myself some wiggle room for months where I know that, reading will be a little bit harder to do. So here we have my index. And then if you've ever heard me talk about books in my previous videos, even my lives when I'm talking about the love of Bibles and books, I've always said that I wanted to have my own library within my home. And so I was like, you know what? Yes, this is a bookshelf, but this is the beginning of my library. And so I don't have a room specifically dedicated to books yet, but I could create a library situation within my reading journal. And so I wanted to name my library because it looked weird just putting my and then library here. So I said my joy, with the little creative way of saying that. I might change it to an I altogether, but it's my joy. And then my joy library. So I filled in the bookcase itself with one of my mile highlighter markers in brown, and I printed off some plants because I couldn't really find enough plants that were on paper versus transparent paper, sticker paper. And so I went ahead and printed all a variety of different plants, and I just layered them within the bookshelf. I also put a picture of my doggy Yaya because that's probably what I would do. Probably have a camera somewhere, my glasses, and then here's a picture frame of a quote. It says, so many books, so little time. And then I have a lamp and then some different florals and vases and pots. And I thought that was really cute with the little flip, what they call those little flip calendar thingies, make today count, to encourage me, and to fit some of it in, like with this one right here, I did have to remove a book, but I got plenty of books to write in the titles and to color code them per genre. So I'm excited about my little library. This will be a lot of fun. Okay, and then I have my daily reading challenge. I just added a couple of plants towards the bottom here, and I used the bookish sticker book from Happy Planner that came out like a few years ago. I used the lettering and the strip stickers from there, but so I will probably block out January and February and begin my tracking for this month, March, of course. But I did finally complete a book on February the 28th, and it was an Audible book, and I'll have to tell you about that in a separate video, but it took me so long to finish. And I really think it was because it was Audible. It was the first time I really tried to listen to a book audibly. And I know that I'm a person that needs to read and listen at the same time. And then two, now I'm starting to figure out it might have just been the book itself. I don't know, but I will go more into that. But I did finish a book on February 28th, and it was a novel. So I'm excited about that. And I have the physical book, so I probably will try to um, reread it later on this year or pick it back up in 2024 and see if that will make a difference because it was a popular book. It was even recommended on Oprah's book list. And you know, if something is on Oprah's book list, then it must be good. Okay, then I have what I read page here. And of course, this has a slot up to 62 books. You know, if I get anywhere near that, I'll be happy. But I really only needed one page. But I went ahead and put both just in case your girl exceeds her goals. So, and this is a quick way to look at the title of the books and then give it a rating. And it's just a nice way to just have a nice gauge of books that I've read. Okay. Then I have this list, which I really wish I would have put this as a 2-pager because I have a lot of books I want to read. So in February, I have bought some books that I wanted to read that were popular as of right now. When I went into my Audible, I looked at the bestsellers. I looked at recommendations from different bestseller lists, and I gathered up some book recommendations from that. Some books I ordered, some books I put into my Audible, and I also decided to go ahead and do Kindle. I had a Kindle read like few years ago, and I did not take advantage of it. But now I know that Kindle and Audible links together, and I love it. So I renewed my membership for Kindle as well as Audible as a way to help me get through books faster because I know that if I'm just reading a physical book by itself, it takes me a little bit longer because of the way I think and process information. So I am probably going to have to build in an insert to this, or I might add a flip open to add additional books. So we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. And if so, I have an idea of how to decorate that so that it blends in with what I have here. But I love the sticker. It just looks like she has a stack of books, and it looks like, girl, I got so many books to read. And that's exactly why I put it with this. And I put some additional stickers, and of course, some of my favorite washi tape from Simply Gilded. Okay, this, oops. So this page is a page tracker, as well as books read. So some of it starts to get a little bit redundant, and I realized that as I was doing my setup, and so I had to take a moment and think about how I'm really going to use all of this stuff, right? So to me, this is a quick way to look at how much I'm reading. So of course, January and February, I won't have a lot there, but for May, I could definitely start putting how many pages I read per day. And so this will be great. The first few days of March, I can already say that it will be 0 because I was at Go Well and I really didn't do any reading. I went to a bookstore with my planner bestie Cami and got some books, and I wanted to read the books but never read them. Didn't even open up Audible or Kindle, so, and that's okay. But I'm definitely going to start filling in for the rest of the month, and I'm looking forward to seeing this fill up. And what, okay, and here I have my little Yaya she's like one of my favorite beings right now. So I just love her. And then I have one of my stickers from my Etsy shop here with a Kindle, some buds, and I printed out some rip stickers that had writing on it, and then some deco wall art and a bookshelf up at the top. And then on this side, and I'm also going to color code this. I love that it has a key so that you can say you read 0 pages, 5 to 10 pages, 11 to 20 pages, 21 to 30 pages, and 40 plus. And for right now, this is sufficient for me because, again, I don't want to get overwhelmed because the main purpose is for me to read. I've been watching a lot of booktubers online and how they set up their pages, their standard pages for the reading journal. And a lot of these type of trackers are used to create statistics so that you can see your preference in how you read, how much you read, how many pages you read per section, all of this and that. And I'm like, okay, maybe if I get through my first 6 months, I can always go back in and add additional trackers to maybe break down like how many pages I read per day, or how long I read and how many pages were in that particular reading section. There's just like so many things that you could track. But I bookmarked that booktuber and I said I will have to come back to that. And but it was a lot and it would be overwhelming for someone like me just getting her feet wet again in reading books. And then on this side, I have books read. And so what I like about this is like in March, I could say I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, and I could color code the months here so that I could fill in like March, I could put green and I could say, oh, I read 5 books in March. And then I could say I read 10 books in April or 1 book in May. But this will be like a quick way for me to see like what months were good reading months for me. So maybe in the summer, I might have read more novels. So I didn't read as many books because I'm reading books with more pages and so forth. And so all of these different things add layers upon layers of being able to understand your mechanism and how you are as a reader, which I love. And so, but I could say, oh, you know, the winter months are the best months for me to read a lot of books, and I could prepare for that in a more strategic kind of way. So, okay. Then we have my Goodreads tracker. Goodreads will recommend additional books based on what you read and their ratings. I was like, okay, because I tried to go into Goodreads and find recommendations, and it was like, we don't have anything for you just yet. We got to see what you like first so that we can recommend it for you. And so this will just be like a quick guide for me to put in whether I tend to be drawn to thrillers, fictions, young adult, romance, nonfiction, and history. So those are the basic categories that Hiba included in her printables. But as I get more familiar with what I like or how I want to stretch myself, I can add additional categories. So, and again, I will color code these. And my goal is to have the same color code as much as possible for all of these trackers. Now, I love this particular sticker. This sticker had more like work related books on here. So I just took one of my washi tape that had some words on it and I covered it up so it could go for anything. But I haven't figured out what to put behind her. I would have preferred to put like a bookstore behind her, and I don't know. I haven't tried to peel this sticker up yet. I may try to do that, but for right now, I'm just happy with her just being present in my journal. So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to using Goodreads as a tool. Okay, then we have bingo. I have not filled out my bingo yet. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put different genres that I am interested in stretching myself out to. There are things that I already tend to like. I love books based on biblical, historical information. Those are the things I tend to be drawn towards. Christian-based books, but that are not true necessarily, but they could be based on historical information, biblically historical information, or just books that are not true. So, in general, so I know that those are my go-to, but now I want to stretch myself. I already have in my books to read that I have physically on hand. I already have a book that's been translated to English from an author that was that is from Italy. So that'll be fun, you know, just in a book that was recently released. I have one of those. So I've already sort of been picking up like different books and also putting books in my digital library as well. But I just need to go in and fill out the different categories within here. And then also I'm looking at other like YouTubers to see how they're challenging themselves and seeing what categories they're using as well. So, and then we have our A to Z challenge. And so you just put the title of the book according to the letter, the first letter of the title. And so I'm looking forward to filling that out as well. And it also could challenge you to pick up different books that maybe fit that letter. So it's just a nice way to sort of help you diversify your books to read. And then we have our monthly favorites. And I just used the printable from Heba. And I don't know, she has like 1.5 by 2 to print out a picture of the cover to put here, but I don't know if I printed it out correctly, so I need to like remeasure this so that I can, I need to remeasure the squares so that I can print out the correct spacing for what I have in my book right now, because I don't believe my pages fully cover the A5 book. And this is based on A5, her printables are, but I don't know how to really translate it once I printed everything off. So I'm going to remeasure that. But what I like here is that you have like a digital reader, you have the Audible, and you have the physical book. So a lot of these I'm going to be putting both digital and Audible, or Audible and physical book. And then some I might just put Audible, some I might just put digital, some I might just put physical. And I just want to challenge myself to figure out what is the best mechanism. But the thing about digital version is everything is not digitally available. Everything is not audibly available. Or it may be, but there's a cost added to it. And I may not want to because I'm already subscribed to like Audible or to Kindle. And so various reasons why I may want to do a combination of or either or. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. And then the ratings will be 5-star. And then you have your start and finish as well. So all 12 months are listed here. I wouldn't have anything for January, but I would have something for February that I finish. And then I put some decorative stickers that I created and printed out. Well, I didn't create the image, but I created the sticker based off of some images I have. And because Yaya, my puppy, is my favorite little thing right now. I love her. She brings me so much joy. I put another sticker of her there. I got some more books and coffee mug and glasses over here. Okay, so this is my first setup for March. And so this is just like a general kind of setup. I have what am I reading in March, and then I have the calendar here. The calendar I created myself. I didn't see one in Hibba's printables, but I need to go back because when I was looking at one of her setup videos for her journal, I was reviewing what she had, and she said that there was a printable of a calendar for A5 size. And so I need to go and see if I just overlooked it, but it's okay because I printed out my own and just added my own stickers. And I just did the initial for each day of the week since it was a smaller calendar. And then I have this doll from my Etsy shop, and she has like a book in her hand, and she just looks like a person who would take time out to read and write. So I love that. And I have what am I reading in March, and in the background it's like a library or a bookstore of some sort. That's what the imagery is in the background. And then I decided to do what is called a Dutch door waterfall effect. And I was just playing around with it. And so here I have the image of the doll that I use in my sticker shop. Of course, I have my Yaya. And then the background that was created and that I added to is her sitting on the floor on a carpet, and she has like a lamp in the background and a series of different bookshelves and deco and all the good stuff. And she has a stack of books next to her, and I thought that was really cute. And then here, I had only intended to read 2 books this month, giving myself grace as a starting point. I have Red Tent. Red Tent is a book that I read previously when I was in a book club, and I absolutely love it. It's one of those novels that is inspired by biblical history, and I truly love it, and I can't wait to give a review on it. And I don't think I journaled about it ever. And so it'll be fun to do an actual review on this book in my journal. And then a new book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And this is a book that I kept seeing pop up in like recommendations in Kindle, Audible, on I think the New York Times bestseller list. And so when Cami mentioned that she was reading it and invited me to read it along with her, I was like, oh yeah, I got that in my list to read. I think I had saved the Audible, but I didn't have it in physical format or on Kindle yet. So now I have those and I'm reading through it, and the book is fabulous. And so I've already printed out the book covers and I just need to include them. But since I start reading some additional books, I'm not for sure how I actually want to put these in here just yet. I'm thinking I will probably put this one over here and just put like key information about it, like published date, the author, number of pages, if I'm reading it physically by Kindle or Audible. And I might just go ahead and give a quick summary of what it's about, but just like in a very short little phrase. And so I'll put that there. But I have other books that I'm starting to incorporate for March already. One book I've already finished because it's a novella, which is a short book. And so I'm thinking I'll probably put that one over here. And then do the same for the rest. So these 2 are my like main books that I am reading that I already know I want to do actual review on, but I'm glad that I have some additional space to add the other books. So this is supposed to be just quickly what I'm reading, what I've pulled off the bookshelf to actually read. And so there you have it. And it's called a Dutch door, but then I have like the waterfall here as well. I got too happy with the cutting of this, and I cut some of the stitching of the journal, and so I just went in and put some sticker paper on here just in case you're able to see it, to help keep that part together. But yeah, so anywho, that's that. And then I have this page too that I can go in and put some additional information on if I decided to, but I just didn't know what yet. And so that's where I stop. So from this point, I will be adding like my actual book reviews on the next pages over. And then I probably will go ahead and start setting up my April setup so that I have that together and that I can do a process video of that. But that's it. And then I haven't wrote in it yet. I feel pretty comfortable using stamps and inks of different sorts, my markers and everything, because this particular journal has gotten good reviews. And again, it's 160 GSM quality, which means it can withstand a lot of different inks and so forth, and not have shadowing or bleed through. And so I'm looking forward to really writing in this. This is going to help me with my lettering, my handwriting in general, my doodling that I want to get back into. I used to paint, I used to draw, all of that kind of stuff. And this will be my creative outlet. So I'm really am excited about this, but I will do my pen test back here. And it actually has a page to do a pen test. So yeah, and I thought this was cute. Mindfulness. Flip through the journal from the first page to the last. See all the scribbles. A mirror to your past. What have you learned? How have you grown? Reflect and ponder when you're alone. And so this could be a cool little reflection page at the end. And I really hope to be able to fill this up. But the thing about this is, I know that this is a lot of pages. It has 152 dotted pages. And so being able to do creative stuff like this helps me to use up some of the pages, because I might not have time to do detailed journaling or whatever else, but it gives me the opportunity to do creative stuff within the journal itself. And so a lot of the stuff I'm utilizing my scrapbooking, my journaling techniques, and things I've learned throughout the planning community, and scrapbooking. All of this is going to come into play, and I am so excited. So I know that there is a lot of people on YouTube talking about their reading journals, and as a beginning person doing a reading journal, getting back into reading, I hope that you will follow my journey as I go along and encourage me, and I hope that you are encouraged too. I'm excited to read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo along with my planner bestie. That'll be fun to have a discussion with her. So it'll be interesting to maybe join some book clubs. I'm already starting to look at some through Kindle, I believe. Yeah, I think Kindle or Audible, both of them are housed on Amazon, so it's probably housed in Amazon in general, but they have book clubs there. And so I may do that. I don't know, but it would be fun to maybe do a local book club. I'm just excited to see what 2023 has to bring as far as my venture in reading books will result in. And I can't wait to see how I fill all of this up. So thank you so much for joining me, for your support. And please go ahead and subscribe, like, turn on your notification bell so anytime that I go live or post new videos, you'll be notified. Thank you so much and happy reading. God bless.